When do you think this will conclude?
Are you afraid of being convicted? Do you want to talk about Michael?
Are you angry?
Folks, things are going from very bad to even worse for Donald Trump. He's become a thing of mockery inside the courtroom in his criminal trial. You heard it right there at the outset of this video. The press pool at this point just mocking him, saying to him, "Are you afraid of being convicted? Are you angry? What do you want to say to Michael Cohen?" And then they also asked him as he walked away, are you going to enforce the Comstock Act, which would restrict access to abortion medication, as Donald Trump just kind of walks away slouched. Let me play that clip one more time for you so you can hear it now that you know what to look for here. Take a look at it right now. Play the clip.
Wouldn't new Trump DOJ enforce the Comstock Act? When do you think this will conclude?
Are you afraid of being convicted? Do you want to talk about Michael?
Are you angry?
So that was Donald Trump walking away as he exited his criminal trial. Week 5, day 17. You had Michael Cohen's second day of direct testimony and Michael Cohen on cross-examination. Trump's lawyer did horrible. Donald Trump continued to fall asleep and pass out during the cross-examination. The jury seemed not to be buying what Donald Trump's lawyers were selling on cross-examination. More on that in a moment. Here, the media asks Donald Trump if he plans on testifying, and Donald Trump blames the gag order for why he can't answer the question. Watch this, and I want to talk about that in a second. Play this clip.
Mr. Trump, did you set up a back channel to Michael Cohen after he was raided by the FBI?
Do you plan to testify, Mr. Trump?
Well, thank you very much. As you know, I'm under a gag order, so I can't really answer those very simple questions that you're asking. I'm under a gag order. Nobody's actually seen anything like it.
It should be noted that the appellate division in New York on Tuesday upheld the gag order imposed on Donald Trump, which limits his ability to attack witnesses, to attack the judge's family, and to attack the jury. It's pretty much limited to just that. It says nothing about Donald Trump talking about whether or not he's going to testify or not. And it certainly wouldn't limit Donald Trump's ability to testify. Gag orders involve extrajudicial statements. Donald Trump previously stated that he was going to testify, but as he always has done in the past, that's his MO. He lies. Surprise, surprise. He says he's going to testify. And then ultimately, when it comes down to it, he is scared. He is weak. He is pathetic. And he ultimately does not testify here. Donald Trump, I almost wish there was a gag order post on him to stop him from saying things like this. But what a horrible thing for him to say. Again, he says, if you're Jewish and you're a Democrat, you must have something wrong with you. Your head must be bashed in or something horrific. Here, listen to what he says. It's just a horrible thing for him to say. Play this clip.
Alan Dershowitz, a great gentleman. This is election interference at the most obvious, and every American, no matter whether you're on the Trump team or against him, whatever political affiliation it is, and he goes on to say he's a Democrat. He can't be right about everything because he's making a big mistake. If you're Jewish and you're a Democrat, and that includes Alan Dershowitz, you ought to have your head examined. You see what's going on with Israel.
And then he can't say the word battleground states. Listen to what he says here.
For the voters across the country in these battleground states, many of
Then he lies and claims that food prices are up 80%. Listen to what he has to say here.
anything. They go for food and it's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% more than it was just a couple of years ago. So that's a shame.
That's what Donald Trump said as he was exiting his criminal trial. And then so he's also brought along with him these MAGA Republican members of Congress and kind of MAGA Republican supporters of his, who he calls his surrogates, to have them try to violate the gag order. So here, for example, this was Tommy Tuberville admitting on right-wing media that this is MAGA Republican senator from Alabama. He admits here in an interview that he just did that the reason that he showed up to Trump's criminal trial was in order to help Donald Trump violate the gag order. He says it in his own words. Listen to what he has to say. Play the clip.
Hopefully we have more and more senators and congressmen go up every day to represent him and be able to go out and overcome this gag order. And that's one of the reasons we went, is to be able to speak our piece for President Trump.
Well, that's good. You know, if he can't speak on the sham this trial is, they can't put you under a gag order. Not yet, the way things are going.
So one of the things that Tommy Tuberville said when he showed up earlier in the week is how sad and depressing the courtroom is. Listen to what he has to say. Play this clip.
Respect. Here's what I'm seeing too. It is depressing. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country. And we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the President of the United States this year.
Again, these MAGA Republicans are so weak and so pathetic. Like, you've got him complaining about how depressing the courtroom is. Here's Donald Trump whining about how cold the courtroom is yesterday as he was leaving. It's so cold. He goes, it's so cold. Play this clip.
That's it. Look, the trial is going very well. It's the fourth week. I've been stuck in here for 4 weeks. I call it the icebox. We call it the icebox.
Donald Trump also had Vivek Ramaswamy show up. And again, he said, this is such a depressing courtroom. And it's like Kafkaesque. I'm just going to use a big word and say Kafkaesque, and people are going to think I'm smart, despite the fact that everything I say is utterly pathetic. Let me use a big word. Here he is right here.
What do we see in there? First of all, I learned a lot from being in there in person. It is one of the most depressing places I have been in my life, but it is fitting because the only thing more depressing than the environment of that courtroom is what's actually happening in there. It's straight out of a Kafka novel. The prosecution's main strategy appears to be to bore the jurors into submission. And if you look in that...
And so that's what he literally has these MAGA Republicans. By the way, they're like, you notice they're dressed in like their MAGA cult uniform. Look at what they look like. He makes them dress like that. And then they like cut ads for him while they are there. You all know I love math, right? So let's do some quick math. The less your business spends on operations, on multiple systems, on delivering your product or service, the more margin you have and the more money you keep. But with higher expenses on materials, employees, distribution, and borrowing, everything costs more. So to reduce the headaches, smart businesses are graduating to NetSuite by Oracle, as we did at MeidasTouch. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one platform and one source of truth. Truth is golden. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because NetSuite lives in the cloud with no hardware required, accessed from anywhere. You cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because you've got one unified business management suite. You improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks and errors. Slash it. Over 37,000 companies have already made the move, including ours. So do the math. See how you'll profit with NetSuite. Businesses need to operate as efficiently as possible, so you'd be wise to find proven ways to cut costs and boost performance at the same time. Now, through April 15th, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. So head to netsuite.com/Meidas. That's netsuite.com/Meidas. One more time, it's netsuite.com/Meidas. This right here, this was from earlier in the day. This is MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Folks, it's supposed to be a co-equal branch of government. It's supposed to preserve and protect not just the Constitution, but also its independence within the constitutional structure. And so you have MAGA Mike, when no one knew who he was, said, what do you believe in, MAGA Mike? What's your philosophy about politics and life? He goes, what you got to do is you just got to read the Bible and you'll know how I feel. Well, now you're at the hush money criminal trial. You're not even, he didn't even sit in the trial. He was there for no seconds. By the way, this is confirmed by the New York Post reporter who was in there and said, yeah, he wasn't even in here. And then he goes out and then pretends that he was in there so that he could basically spread propaganda for Donald Trump. You're the Speaker of the House. Have some dignity, but there is none. The depths of depravity of MAGA knows no bounds. This is what MAGA Mike had to say. Here, play this clip.
What we've got here is a partisan Democrat district attorney. We have a Biden donor judge, and we have an assistant DA who was recently a top official at the Department of Justice, Biden's DOJ, and recently received over $10,000 in payments from the Democratic National Committee. The star witness here is Michael Cohen. I just listened to a few moments of his testimony this morning, and it is consistent with what he's already done. This is a man who is clearly on a mission for personal revenge and who is widely known as a witness who has trouble with the truth. He is someone who has a history of perjury and is well known for it. No one should believe a word he says today.
And by the way, just take a look at what multiple reporters had said about Michael Cohen's direct testimony and cross-examination, or rather how Donald Trump was responding to it. Harry Littman, Trump out, head back. Donald Trump was quite literally passing out and falling asleep during the testimony. Trump looks out, eyes closed, drooping mouth. Erica Orden says, with Blanche, several minutes into his cross-examination of Cohen, Trump is slouched in his seats, his eyes seemingly closed and his mouth slack. Here's Suzanne Craig from the New York Times. As Michael Cohen testified, Trump has dropped his head repeatedly and appears to be struggling to stay awake. Here's from a New York Post reporter, Ben Kochman. He was the one who said that, who confirmed that MAGA Mike didn't even show up at all for the trial. Trump has been slouched at the defense table yet again, with his eyes closed, this time for more than 15 minutes. Adam Klasfeld, the reporter who's in the courtroom. Quite a split screen between this and Cohen's maintained eye contact with jurors, now in a lengthy monologue about his location monitoring for an ankle bracelet in connection with his sentencing. By the way, you want to know how the cross-examination went of Michael Cohen? As unhinged as Donald Trump is, his lawyer, Todd Blanche, this is what his lawyer said. Here's how the cross-exam of Michael Cohen began. Todd Blanche. Mr. Cohen, my name is Todd Blanche, and you and I have never met. You went on TikTok and you called me a crying little shit, didn't you? Cohen. That sounds like something I would say. Objection? Sustained. Blanche. Have you ever called Donald Trump a dictator douchebag? Have you ever called him that? Cohen. I mean, it sounds like something I would say. Did you ever say, Mr. Cohen, that Trump belongs in a cage like an animal? Yeah, well, that sounds like something I would say. Mr. Cohen, isn't it true that your website, you sell Convict 45 shirts? You sell mugs that say, send Trump to the big house, not the White House. Isn't that true? Michael Cohen, no, I don't do that. The MeidasTouch network does that, store.meidastouch.com, but I don't do that. What are you talking about? That's the MeidasTouch website. But isn't it true that you sell it? No, that's not my website. That's the MeidasTouch website. By the way, thank you, Todd Blanche, for the shout out. Store.meidastouch.com for the Convict 45 shirts. That's now an official exhibit. As Andrew Giuliani, who's in the courtroom, says, media is giggling at the white t-shirt of Trump in jail and the send him to the big house, not the White House coffee mug. And so I think the jury's looking at Trump and Trump's lawyer. What are you doing? Are you going to talk about the case, or are you just going to keep talking about MeidasTouch t-shirts all day at this criminal trial? How bizarre. Can you be? But can we just show you just a moment on the other hand, President Biden? President Biden was asked by the media. He said, Donald Trump, the media was saying to him at the White House, Donald Trump said that you're selling out to China. What do you say to him? Watch President Biden's response. It's chef's kiss, pitch perfect. Watch what he says. Play it.
Trump said today, China is eating our lunch. What do you say in response? He said, China is eating our lunch. That's what Trump said today. We've been feeding it a long time.
Here's what President Biden had to say as well. Play this clip.
But this bill had majority, that bipartisan bill has majority support in the House and Senate.
But I was told that other guy, that loser, I think he's having trouble. Trump called Republicans and to block that Senate bill, got on the phone and said it'd be a win for Biden and a loser for him. So they have to make sure you don't allow it to get to a vote. But he's wrong. Republicans in Congress must act because it's the right thing to do and America needs it done.
One more clip may I show you of President Biden? I just want to show you some normalcy. Can I show you a little bit of normalcy? Play the clip.
6 years ago, my predecessor showed up carrying a golden shovel, promising, thanks to his new $10 billion manufacturing complex, would be built in Racine. He said it would be the eighth wonder of the world. Big promises that never came true. He used that golden shovel to dig a hole, and then he fell into it. Well, it's not on my, that's part of my, well, I'm delivering for Racine. Delivering, thanks to the investment of my administration, Microsoft is investing billions to build a new data center in Racine, creating thousands of good-paying jobs. Because the view from Scranton and towns like it are a lot different than from Mar-a-Lago. It's a view where that money doesn't determine your worth. Everyone's entitled to be treated with dignity and respect, and everyone deserves a fair shot. We leave nobody behind. That's the America we're building together. That's why I've never been more optimistic about our future.
Well, there you have it. You could contrast for you. You don't need me to do the contrast for you. Just tell me what you think. Anyway, I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Go to store.MeidasTouch.com. Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, is going there. Store.Meidas, an exhibit now in the trial. Store.MeidasTouch.com. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.